Hi guys, hope you're well. So today we are coming to you from a room that we refer to as the back hall because there's just lots going on in the house today, so I've had to come back here. So I suppose welcome to Andrew's back hall. It's a little bit tight, it's going to be a squeeze, but I reckon we can all get in there and have a right good time. Right guys, so we're going to be comparing two Rolex Submariners. Their modern generation, which is the 41mm with the different size lugs, and the previous generation, which has been kindly loaned to me from Workington Watches. Top man, I do appreciate that, mate. Now, to your average man in the street or a family member, if you were to show them these two watches, they're just going to say, one's got a green bezel, one's got a black, and there is no difference. And I totally get that. There isn't that much difference in the two watches, unless you're a bit of a watch geek, unless you really analyze it. And once you start to look at them, those tapered lugs, they do make a massive difference. There's an argument to say that the last gen Submariner was possibly, for me anyway, the greatest watch on the planet. I think subconsciously I've always wanted and adored the Submariner. Probably a little bit of a downfall for me that when I wore it on my left wrist, the crown did dig in a bit like my date just. So that's a really small gripe. And actually, the last generation Sub, if you look at it on the wrist, it's just a sexy watch. It's perfect, do anything, go anywhere. And if you look at Workington Watches, he's actually scratched it up, he's beat it up. But you know what? It goes, it looks better. So it can take the battle scars, whereas my date just, look at that. You just wince, it's full on scratch. And because the polished center links, when you're close up to the watch, it's highlighted more in my eyes. And it's a negative, but from 2 foot away, it looks phenomenal. So back to the Submariners, it can take a knock, they look fantastic. Side by side, yeah, that tapered lug and the 21mm from 20mm, I think that's made a massive difference actually. So it just, from what was an already perfect watch, they've made it even more perfect. And I think even Workington Watches would say, hold his hands up and say, actually, the new generation is better than his. But we're talking really fine margins. But they've managed to just tweak something perfect and make it a little bit more perfect still. Really is a fantastic looking watch. So the 21mm, again, when it's a Rolex, especially a Submariner, they kind of don't need to go on anything else but the bracelets, do they? They just look fantastic on the bracelet. So 21mm, usually you'd be like, oh, well, we need it for the NATOs or the leather straps, but a Submariner shouldn't. There is no rules in watch collecting or watch wearing, but for me personally, a Rolex Submariner is one of the watches that's got to stay on the bracelet to get the full benefit of it. I think that the bracelet is almost as iconic as the watch itself. So yeah, it's always going to stay on the bracelet. So at 21mm, don't really make a difference, but it does make a difference to the design and the feel. And I keep going on about the tapered lugs, but once you get them side by side like this and you start to analyze them, the previous generation almost just looks a little bit too bulky and a little too bullish on the wrist, a little bit too square. So it's got sexier lines, it's more fluid, and it's just stunning. Now, the green is totally subjective. I like this green watch. Do I like this green watch better? No, I would go for the black version. And as I said this to Workington Watches on Saturday night, if they were both the same cost and the resale value was the same money, I don't think the green would be as popular, and it wouldn't be my choice, certainly. So yeah, the green's better because it's more money, it's harder to get, so it got that little bit of mystery about it. But ultimately, if it was a level playing field, level costs, you'd go for the black one all day, every day, I think. And if the blue one in white gold was steel, I'd probably go for the blue one again. But again, it's just because it's either a precious metal or difficult to get watch. It sort of focus your attention away from the watch and actually all the cloud and the mystique around it, which is part of the fun, I suppose, with Rolex, isn't it? But it also, yeah, it does cloud your judgment a little bit. So the fit and feel, and there's not much difference on them. As I say, the crown might dig in a little bit to me, but again, that's preferential to where I want to wear my watch on my wrist. And if you seriously just look at the two watches in a wristwatch check, there's not much difference. And from 2 foot, if they were both black or both the same colour, whatever, you'd find it really difficult to pin down whether that is a modern sub or a last generation sub. I mean, for me personally, I'm really into watches and I look at other men's wrists on quite a regular basis. But from 2 or 3 foot, if someone's walking past you in the street and they've got a Submariner on, it were always difficult to tell whether it were a ceramic version or the last generation previously with the aluminium bezel. So this upgrade, very minimal, absolutely amazing in a way, because they've managed to get a 70-hour power reserve in there. They've tweaked it ever so slightly, and it is an improvement. And everyone's arses fell out because it's such an amazing watch. It's even more difficult to get now. So yeah, it is an upgrade, unfortunately. What do you guys think? Do you think the last generation is better? Does anyone out there think the last generation is better now? Looking at them, yeah, no, it does look a little bit too bulky in the face and the lugs and the shoulders. Whereas this modern generation with a 70-hour power reserve and all the good things that the previous gen had, the amazing bezel, the fantastic micro adjustment, the bracelet, oh la la, it is the best bracelet in the world. There's no denying. So yeah, an iconic watch has been made more iconic and even better. So I'd like to know your thoughts. Is the green all that? Take away the after sale cost and the difficulty to get, and the kudos that you will get the pat on the back from other watch enthusiasts if you manage to get one of these at retail. But ultimately, I remember seeing the green in the windows when it wasn't a popular watch. I just thought it was dog ugly. I thought it was really disgusting. And it's almost like subconsciously everyone's told you that it's such an amazing watch, it's so difficult to get. You're like, oh, well, I want to look at it. I want to feel it. I want to touch it. So green's not my colour. It's never been my colour. But I would rock it. Absolutely would I rock it. Right, guys, just a quick video. Tell me what you think. Which is the best version? I'm leaning to the modern version, but I tell you what, I won't sniff at Workington Watches Submariner. It's an absolute classic. Very finally, this green one is actually for sale. Big thanks to Character Watches for loaning it in. It's an absolute legend. If you want to buy this type of watch on the grey market, give him a shout. He's a top bloke. Right, guys, over and out. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, as I said, Workington Watches came over on Saturday night and he did his best Del Boy impression.
All right, play it nice and cool, son. Nice and cool, you know what I mean?
That's right, he literally did this, but not sideways. He went fully backwards. Broke one of my kids' toys as well, totally wrecked the joint, drank us out of house and home, ate all his food, and then pissed off at 2 o'clock in the morning. Great night, mate. Thank you very much for the loan. Over and out. I'll see you in the next one.